Hello friends, and thank you for watching. Today we're going to cover 30 things you might not know in Animal Crossing, especially if you've recently purchased the game and just started playing. So let's get into it. I hope these tips and tricks will help you, especially if you're a beginner. These are things you just might not know yet. And don't mind my hidden leg, I promise it's still there. We're just standing in the pumpkin. To get started, you're going to want to go ahead and get 10 power-ups in order to smash rocks or dig up whole trees. One way to do that would be to eat 10 crops or 10 pieces of fruit. Now, as you can see, this is pretty time consuming because you have to not only pick up these items one by one, depending on how you have them set up, and then you have to eat them one by one. It does take quite a bit. But there we have it, 10 out of 10. And again, don't mind my feet. They're there, I promise. As you can see, when we have the power-ups, you can take a shovel and dig up an entire tree, instead of just smashing it with your shovel. This is one way to get rid of everything if you just want to go ahead and dig up 10 trees or crush 10 rocks or a combination of the two. But again, this is a bit time consuming and it can take a while. But don't worry, there's another solution. You can in fact use your restroom. Just go into the bathroom you've created in your home, hopefully you've got a toilet, hop on up, and wait. Let the rest take care of itself. And that takes care of that. Let's wash our hands real quick. Another option for gaining power-ups would be to eat something that's crafted. Now, depending on what you're crafting will depend on how many power-ups you get. For example, let's make a peach smoothie. It only takes 2 peaches to make, and in this case, it's only going to give us 2 power-ups. How cute is that? Let's go ahead and drink our smoothie, but after we show it off. Again. And as you can see, we have 2 power-ups again. If you've ever tried to catch a scorpion or a tarantula at night, you'll know how difficult it is. Here's your tip. Go very, very slowly and turn up your sound. You're going to hear them hiss, and you'll see them throw up their legs. When they do this, stop moving. When they quit, you can inch up again and bam. Once you get close enough, you can go ahead and grab that sucker. And also, when you see your character say yes, that means it's something you haven't caught before, and you want to make sure that you donate that to the museum. Next up, make sure you're always trying to catch the presents. Pop the balloon with your slingshot, and the present will fall down where you can catch it. Just make sure you're not doing this near the water, or you'll lose the present forever. The same goes for when you're standing in a field of crops or flowers. If the present has nowhere to land, it will disappear. But it's very important to try to get these because you could get bells, a DIY recipe, or even an item. There are several different balloon types and several different things that you can get. Another great thing you can do is utilize Flick when he comes to visit. He will do what he calls commissioning a piece, which is exactly what you see right here. You just have to give him 3 of the same bug, and he's able to make a model for you. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to give him 3 of the same kind. And the next day in the mail, your item will show up. They vary in size, shape, and color, so they really add a lot to your island if you want free decorations. And it's fun to show that you've caught these and taken the time to really help build and create your island. I love them personally. I think they add quite a touch. Another thing you want to do is time travel the right way. What I mean by this is not completely exiting your game, updating the time and going back in. Instead, save your game like you normally would. You'll see this on the screen, saving do not touch. Next, it's going to pop up and say, save complete, see you later. At this point, it's safe to go ahead and hit the home button on your Switch. Once you do that, you're going to go down and to the right and click on System Settings. Scroll down, click on System, and then go down to Date and Time. Now make sure that Synchronize Clock via Internet is off so that you are able to manipulate the time, whether it's a few days, a few hours, whatever you want to do. This is the best and the fastest way that I've seen done myself. Now once you're done, you can hit the B button to go back to the home screen and then click on your game. Go back in and click A. There you have it. Now once you load in your game, it's going to be the new date and time. The next thing we want to cover is one of the oldest tricks in the book, but if you're just starting out, you might not know it. That's right, we're talking about rocks. Remember, they should always yield 8 items if you do it correctly. What I mean by that is when you go to hit the rock, make sure you have something behind you that keeps you from bouncing backwards and missing. You have to hit the rock quickly and repeatedly in order to get the items. So what I do is dig 2 holes behind myself, try to position myself in the middle, and then start hitting the rock. Don't go too fast, but definitely don't go too slow. And look, we were even lucky enough to get a piece of gold. But I didn't go fast enough, so this time I only earned 7 items. Another big tip, save your gold nuggets. The reason is, they're pretty rare and you're not going to come across them very often. Plus, there's a lot of really cool DIY recipes that you'll need them for. Another important thing to remember is to check your beaches every day. Once before 6 p.m. and once after 6 p.m. because technically you'll get 2 DIY bottles. When you see that little glowing spot in the ground, make sure you dig it up every single day. The reason is you'll get 1,000 bells for free, and you can plant bells into the hole to get a money tree. See? A bag of bells. When I bury the bells, I keep a rule of thumb that I do about 10,000. No more, no less. The reason I do this is because I always get 30,000 bells back. I know some people say it's not a guarantee, but it works out for me. If you want to travel fast, considering using the green pipe. It's one of the special Mario items and it's still available for sale. Make sure you only use 2 though, so you know exactly where you're going to end up, otherwise it could be a bit confusing. You can even carry one in your bag and put one in your home so that you always have fast travel. And look, there's the money tree that we made. Always pay attention to the thought bubbles above your villagers' heads. You never know what it's going to mean. They may want to move out, or they may just be contemplating something and want to give you a gift. But regardless, I would check it out and see what they have to say. Maybe it's your chance to get your least favorite villager off the island, or a way to make your most favorite villager feel welcome and never want to leave. This tip is when you want to collect clothing a bit faster. Always talk to Label when you see her in the plaza. The reason is, you'll have the option to participate in one of her fashion challenges. I always recommend doing this because, number 1, she's going to give you a free piece of clothing to use for the challenge. So, right there is 1 piece of clothing. And once you come back and complete the challenge, she'll also give you another piece of clothing and a tailor's ticket to use at the Able Sisters shop. This is a great way to get some clothing and save some money. Now here we are, using the item that she gave us. to style a work outfit with a cowboy shirt. It's a different idea, but we're gonna go for it. I'm excited to see what we get in return. Now that we're done, we'll come back to the plaza and talk to Label. She can see that we've changed our outfit, and she's gonna go ahead and give us a rating. I'll be honest, you can just put on the piece of clothing she gives you. You don't have to go all the way home or find a closet in order to change, but I like to participate in the challenge. It makes the game a little bit more fun. And see, here we go. She's giving us a special pair of pumps. A designer outfit, or item, if we'll say. Let's take a look. Now those are cute. And if we zoom in, we can see they have little A's on them. Adorable. A great way to keep from burning out when you're playing Animal Crossing is to always participate in the seasonal events. As you can see here, my game is set in August, and there's a lot of fireworks going on, and my character has a really cute sparkler that she seems to be enjoying quite a bit. Your villagers will come out, they'll enter the plaza, and they'll hang out with you. Whatever you're celebrating for the year is usually going on in your game as well. It's a lot of fun. Sure, the Able Sisters shop changes out their clothing daily, but did you know that you actually have to use the dressing room in order to get the full range of items for the day? I'll be honest, I didn't know this for the longest time, and I really wish I had because I think I missed out on some great clothing items that I hope really come back around. So as you can see, when you go into the changing room, you have not only the items on the rack, but those items in different colors as well, and things that you don't see on display. This is a great way to collect plenty of clothing. And remember, bring your tailor's tickets to use. Another thing you might not know is that you should check and talk to Sable daily. As you can see, we're on a BFF level at this point. Now, when you start the game and you go to talk to her, she always seems too busy. Sometimes she won't even respond to you, instead her sister will. But if you stay persistent and keep on her, I promise it will pay off in time. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but it is a cute surprise. A great way to get Nook Miles is checking the ABD machine daily. On your first day, you'll get 50 miles, and the more often you check, the more miles you get per day. It definitely adds up over time. And you don't have to make a purchase to earn these. As long as you're just logging in, you will get the miles. Another thing to consider is that you can order up to 5 items per day in the catalog. So if you're trying to design or go for a specific theme, this can be very helpful to know. I would go ahead and order your 5 items per day if you have the bells to spare. One thing you might not think about is the fact that you can actually earn interest on your bells that you have within the ABD machine that you have deposited. Doesn't seem like a lot, but over time it will add up. Sometimes I get a piece of mail saying that I've earned a couple thousand bells just by having about 1.5 million. Something very important to keep in mind when you first start the game is where you place down your resident services. While you can go spend bells to move all of the other buildings within the game, minus the airport and of course Captain's Pier, you cannot move resident services once it is placed down. So please make sure you put it somewhere that you're going to be happy with. As you can see here on my map, mine is a bit too close to the airport and it's off to the left, which makes it a bit difficult to decorate with. I'm not very happy with it overall. I do wish I could move it, but again, it's stuck. Something to keep in mind before you spend your hard-earned Nook Miles on a Nook Miles ticket is to make sure that your villager or villagers are actually gone before you go villager hunting. The easiest way to do this is just check the plot. It'll say plot available if you click on the sign. You can also check your menu and look at your map, but it may not show that the plot is already sold. So I suggest checking just to be safe. A common tip, but something that people still don't talk about or think about, is the fact that you can double tap A when you're crafting an item. If you don't, it takes a couple more seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up over time when you're trying to build a lot of DIY projects, whether you're selling them or just doing DIYs in order to decorate your island. Now let's see what it looks like when we double tap A. Much faster. And there we have it. Something you might not think about, but actually come to really appreciate, is bringing certain utility items with you. What I mean by that would be things like your trash can, the pipe used to fast travel, some sort of wardrobe so that you can change whenever you'd like if you don't have the wand already, a powder booth room or a mirror so that you can also change your other looks, and also your storage shed if you're at that point in the game. And the most obvious would be the DIY workbench. That way, you can craft your DIYs on the go. Now you have an entire setup that you would normally have to fast travel to your home to use, but this time, you can use it anywhere. Here's something we all hate, including in real life: catching wasps. Now, see how I did not have my net out? I had to run away, go into my inventory, and quickly grab my net to catch the wasp. The best thing to do is to always have your net out and shake the trees first. But this can be done, if you're lucky. Something I constantly forget is the fact that there is a workbench inside of resident services, so you don't have to run all the way back home, or bring your own. You can always use the one here. Another thing is you should always check the recycle bin for new items. You never know, sometimes yes it is just garbage, but other times it's special items or resources, flooring. You just never know. It's always great to check out. Definitely worth it. As always, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and please hit that like and subscribe button below.